You're listening to the Culips English podcast. To download the study guide for this episode, which includes the transcript, detailed vocabulary explanations, real-world examples, and a quiz, visit our website, culips.com. Culips.com. Hey everybody, my name is Andrew.
And I'm Suzanne.
And you're listening to Culips. Hi everyone, welcome back to Real Talk by Culips, the series where we teach you the English expressions you need to know for real-world situations. And I'm joined today by Suzanne. Hello, Suzanne.
Hey, Andrew. How's it going?
I'm doing really well. Suzanne, today we are going to teach all of our listeners some phrases and expressions they can use when they are shopping for a new phone and a new cell phone plan.
Ooh, that's good. That's a really important topic for sure.
It can be difficult. There's so many options and configurations to the different cell phone plans out there. So I think this will be a really important episode for a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
Before we start today, though, I do want to remind everyone that there's a study guide for this episode available on culips.com. It includes a transcript, some detailed explanations of the vocabulary that you'll hear us use here today, some real-life examples, and a quiz. So check out the study guide, which you can download from our website, culips.com. Okay, so today we're going to learn what phrases and expressions you might likely come across when shopping for a new cell phone plan.
And honestly, right, Andrew, I mean, cell phones are kind of an essential item these days. And not just any old cell phone. I mean, most people have smartphones.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think there's too many people out there walking around with just a basic old mobile phone, right? Almost everybody uses a smartphone these days. Even my parents, they both have smartphones. And elementary school children, I've even seen walking around with smartphones. So it's a really essential item for life these days. I agree.
Yeah, I know. I feel like they're mini computers. They're GPS, you know. They're kind of there for us in many, many different ways, organizing the wine we drink and the video chats, you know.
You're totally right. I use my phone for absolutely everything, and I think I would have a really hard time living without it. I use it for directions, for finding what time the bus comes to my bus stop, for looking up words in the dictionary, taking pictures, recording audio, watching YouTube, you name it. I use my phone for it. So it is essential. By the way, Suzanne, are you an Android or an iPhone person?
I am an iPhone person.
Me too. I'm an iPhoner.
I think I remember you being an Android person, though, for a bit. I think you had an iPhone, and correct me if I'm wrong. I thought you had an iPhone and then switched for a minute. Is that right?
Opposite. I had an Android, and then I switched to iPhone. So, yeah, I guess Apple won me over. And I used to have an Android for years and years, I did. But over the last 2 years, I've been using an iPhone. So I made the switch.
I know. And it's hard to keep up, right? And that's why it's important to know how to change your plan or change your phone because they're always coming out with new ones. They're always making them better and better, more complicated, I should say.
Mm-hmm. Totally. And there are also a variety of different plans you can get at the cell phone store, right? Depending on your budget or how much you use your phone and also your lifestyle. So I think today what we'll do, everyone, is listen to some dialogue examples between a customer and a service representative in a cell phone store. And we'll listen to these examples and learn about the type of expressions you can use when you want to purchase a new phone and sign up for a new cell phone plan. We have 3 different conversation examples to listen to today. And Suzanne, I think we should just get right to it and listen to the first conversation example.
All right, let's do it. Hi, I'm interested in signing up for a new phone plan.
A new phone plan. Okay, so you already have a phone. Is your phone unlocked?
Yes, it is.
Okay, great. And are you interested in a contract plan or pay as you go?
Well, I want something with unlimited data, if possible, unlimited texts, and unlimited calls.
Okay, unlimited data, texting, and calling. In that case, I recommend our 2-year service plan. We offer exactly what you want, unlimited data, texting, and calling for $79 a month. All right, Sue. So in that conversation, we just heard a customer ask a service representative about a new cell phone plan. And the first thing that the service rep at the cell phone store asked the customer was if her phone was unlocked.
Yeah.
Unlocked. So this is a very important word to know when talking about cell phones.
Yeah.
Unlocked. This means that your phone isn't tied down to one service provider, right? It is available to be used with any service provider that you want.
Right. So you're not locked into, one company. It's kind of universal. You're able to kind of go and put in a different SIM card or, use a different network.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes we'll use Canada as an example here.
Yeah.
In Canada, we have Bell, Rogers, TELUS. These are some of the big Videotron, some of the big mobile telecom companies. And if you buy a new phone and sign up for a contract with one of these providers, sometimes they will lock the phone to their service. So you can't take that phone and go to a competing company and use that phone with their service. They want to keep you as a customer. So they lock your phone to their network.
Right.
However, there are also unlocked phones too. Like, if you're using an iPhone and you buy the iPhone directly from the Apple Store, then it will probably be unlocked, right? You could use it with any network that you choose to.
Yeah, it's more expensive that way because you're getting the benefit of changing your provider wherever you go, maybe even for a better deal. So usually an unlocked phone is more flexible and more expensive.
Exactly. And the next key expression we heard in this conversation was a contract plan or pay as you go. The service rep asked the customer, are you interested in a contract plan or pay as you go? So I think a contract is easy for everyone to understand.
Yeah.
You sign an agreement with the service provider for, it's usually 2 or 3 years these days. Long contracts.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah, it used to be 1 year, right? Now it's more.
Yeah, now it's more. And this means that you pay a set amount of money each month. But what about pay as you go? This might be new to some of our listeners. What does it mean, pay as you go?
Well, Again, this allows you a little bit more flexibility. So you are paying each month, like month to month. So maybe you're an exchange student and you're living in Canada for only 3 months or 4 months for a semester. And you need a local phone number and a local phone. If you get a pay-as-you-go plan, then you can pay for 4 months or 1 month at a time until you reach your 4 months. And then you can leave without having a contract to break and maybe an extra fee to pay by breaking that long-term contract.
So the pay-as-you-go plan gives you more flexibility. You're not locked in to a contract. And usually what you do with pay-as-you-go is you buy a certain amount of credit, like $50 worth of talk time. So maybe $50 will give you, I have no idea these days, maybe 1,000 minutes of talk time.
Right.
And once you've talked for 1,000 minutes, your phone will stop working. You need to buy more credit, more talk time from the cell phone store to be able to use your phone. And actually, if I recall correctly, last time I lived in Canada, this is what I used, was a pay-as-you-go plan, because I was a poor student and I couldn't afford the expensive cell phone plans that they had in Canada. Canadian cell phones are famous for being very, very expensive, aren't they? The cell phone plans.
It's a lot more than I paid in the US. And in the US, I actually got unlimited data, unlimited texting and calling and international calling and stuff for a lot less than I pay here.
Yeah, in Korea, it's the same way. I can get a really nice cell phone plan in Korea for not too expensive, but if I had the same plan back in Canada, I'd probably be paying like over $100 a month easily.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's ridiculous. Yeah, Canada is not a good country for cell phones.
No. And it's hard to find unlimited plans. It's very expensive to find unlimited service.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Suzanne, what's your data plan like? How much data do you get per month?
Actually, I think I have 8 gigabytes, which is a lot. So I don't usually go over that. But there are occasions when my phone, for example, was being tricky and it wasn't going onto my home Wi-Fi.
Oh,
so
no.
all of my podcasts were being downloaded on my data instead of my home Wi-Fi service. And I went over big time a couple times until I realized that I was on the wrong setting. And then it was better, but I had to pay extra a few months.
Oh, no. Yeah, you got to be careful with that. I've had that happen to me before too. Yeah.
Ugh. They get you, those iPhones. There's a tricky little setting on there, I feel.
Yeah, you have to definitely make sure that all of the correct boxes are checked in your podcasting application, so you're not downloading on your data and only using Wi-Fi to download podcasts because those files can be huge, right? That can be quite big. So listeners, I hope you are listening to us right now on Wi-Fi.
On Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Download at home before you go out and walk the dog.
Agreed. Let's listen to the second example conversation for today's episode.
Okay, great.
How can I help you today?
Hi, I just moved here. I'll be staying for, I think, the next 6 months, and I'm looking to buy a SIM card and a plan for my phone.
Okay, since you're only here for 6 months, you're eligible for our contract-free pay-as-you-go phone plan.
Oh, what is the cheapest plan I can get?
Well, it depends on your needs. If you want unlimited data, texts, or calls, you can buy a month-to-month service plan. But if you don't use your phone that often, you can buy a prepaid bundle of 2, 5, or 10 gigabytes of data with texts and calls paid by the minute.
I think I'll go with the prepaid plan with 5 gigabytes of data, texts, and calls. Thanks.
All right, in this conversation, we heard, again, a customer talking with a service representative in a cell phone shop, a cell phone store. And this customer had just moved to the area and is only staying around for 6 months. So maybe she's a foreign exchange student or traveler or something like this. And so because she's just in the area for a short time, she's eligible, which means she is able to get a contract-free pay-as-you-go phone plan. And Suzanne, we just kind of talked about this pay-as-you-go contract-free plan, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And so the service rep asks her what kind of plan she wants, depending on her habits, her cell phone habits. And she decides to go with a prepaid plan with 5 gigabytes of data, texting, and calling. And this is similar to what we just mentioned, but a prepaid plan is a key expression that our listeners should know, Suzanne, I think. And this is the same as pay as you go, right? It means you pay first and then you receive credit to use on your phone.
Yeah, it's kind of like if you've ever used like a calling card, you purchase a certain amount before, and then once it's up, you have to buy another one. I think something interesting to add here, Andrew, is the service rep here talks about a prepaid bundle, because you might also hear the service person say a bundle, which in this case, or in most cases, means that you're paying for a certain amount of data, texting, and calling. So that's kind of like a bundle or a package in your plan, not just calling or not just texting.
Right.
Because we use smartphones these days and our phone can do different things, then we have different components that we pay for. And when we put it together, people can call it a bundle.
Yeah, you'll hear this expression used in lots of different services you can buy, right? Maybe your home phone also might be bundled with your cable TV or your internet.
Yeah, that's how mine is. Yes.
Right. You can get a kind of entertainment bundle for your house. Or other services on the internet too. I've seen you can sign up for websites and receive a bundle. Maybe, for example, Adobe. If you buy Photoshop, you can also bundle it with other programs too. So like maybe Illustrator or Premiere, you can get all of these software packages bundled together. I know we use that here at Culips. We have an Adobe bundle that we buy from Adobe.
And I think you might also use this kind of template or these key expressions if you live somewhere where the plans are maybe a little more expensive. For example, here in Canada, we have a tendency, we as in all the people here, have a tendency to try to change our plans and bundles and move to different carriers and use those different prices against the other companies to get a better deal. Like you're kind of bargain shopping and comparing your deals, maybe using it as leverage. Like, hey, this company is only charging me $40 a month. Oh, really? Well, if you sign up for a bundle with your internet, we'll let you have it for $40 a month. So this is used quite often here in Canada, for example.
Absolutely. And so there's one more expression that we heard in this conversation I want to point out. This is really rich conversation. Lots of interesting expressions in this one. Month to month. Okay. The service rep said you can buy a month to month service plan. And so what this means is it's a contract, but it's renewed every month. It's only a month-long contract. So it's not for 24 months or 36 months. It's just for 1 month. And then you have the option to renew at the end of the month. And you'll also hear month to month commonly used when talking about renting apartments.
Yes. I was just going to say that. Yeah.
Yeah. In Canada, the basic apartment contract length is 1 year. And then usually after 1 year, you go on a month-to-month contract with your landlord. And so both parties have the option at any time to end the business agreement, right? And that it's just renewed automatically on a 1 month period after that initial contract length. So you can also use month to month to talk about different cell phone plans too that are just short little 1 month length agreements.
Yeah. That's sometimes it's really nice because you're not tied down. You have freedom.
Right. You have the freedom. If you see a better deal at a different company, you can move your business to a different company. So I think a lot of people prefer a month to month plan over, a 36-month contract.
Yeah. I just want to point out one more thing about the pronunciation of a word that you and I have been actually pronouncing differently. The word data or data, we've used it interchangeably in this episode, and they are actually both correct. They're just different ways of saying them. So, for example, in Canada and in the US, we might have different pronunciations for the same word, like process and process. They're both correct. They're just like a different dialect. So, yeah, you can say data and you can say data. It's like tomato, tomato. Nope, they're interchangeable. No one will question it.
I think I usually say data, but
Yeah.
I also might say data, depending on how I feel in the moment. I don't know. It might also be what other speakers around me are saying, right? Sue, if you keep saying data, 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 then maybe I will start saying data instead of data.
I'm influencing you. You know what's funny? I think when I'm talking about collecting data for research, I say data. But when I talk about my phone, I say data. I don't know why. It's so weird.
Interesting. It's so weird. Let's listen to our third and final conversation example for this episode.
Hi, is it possible to buy a phone plan without buying a new phone?
It depends. Is your phone unlocked?
I'm not sure.
Okay, let me check. I'm sorry, but it looks like your phone is not unlocked. So you can only use this phone with the carrier that you bought it from.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for your help.
Yeah, no problem. And if you're interested in getting a cheaper phone plan, then I recommend buying an unlocked phone or asking about prepaid plans with your current provider.
Okay, thanks.
All right. So in this conversation, again, we heard a service representative and a customer talking at a cell phone store. And this time, the customer wanted to get a new cell phone plan, but couldn't because her cell phone was locked. And I think the key vocabulary from this conversation was the word carrier. Carrier. What is a cell phone carrier or a service carrier?
Yeah, and this is not the case that you keep your phone in. This is this is your provider, your network provider, right? So they are the carrier or the holder of the network that you are paying for. So if you have Verizon or you have Bell or Fido.
Yeah, in Canada, we have Bell, Telus, Fido, Rogers. And in the States, what do you have? AT&T, Sprint.
Yeah, we have some weird stuff now too.
Verizon.
Verizon. Yeah, I think you named them the main ones. I think there's also there's one I can't remember. It's been a while, and they have some new ones that are like smaller.
Right. Yeah. It's the case in Canada too. You have these regional carriers.
Yeah, that's what a carrier is. It's really your cell phone company.
Exactly. So your carrier is your cell phone company. And finally, Sue, I just want to point out one last thing that our listeners may be confused about. We've been using the word cell phone throughout this episode to talk about smartphones, right? Like,
Yeah.
When we say cell phone, we're not talking about the old style flip phone. We really just use the word cell phone to talk about any kind of mobile phone. And these days, mobile phones are all smartphones. So yeah, guys, don't be confused. You don't need to use the word smartphone to talk about smartphones. You can also use cell phone, and everybody will know that you're talking about a modern current smartphone.
Yeah. Some people say cellular or my mobile.
Yeah, my students at the university, they always say smartphone, but I think this is one of the things they get confused about, because English speakers, at least personally, I say cell phone over smartphone most of the time.
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah. It just feels more comfortable, more.
Yeah.
I'm more used to it. I've been using the word cell phone for longer than smartphone, so cell phone is kind of the default word that I use.
I'm with you. Now we don't even have a home phone, so we just call it my phone.
Yeah, or phone, right? Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly, my phone. Well, thank you for listening, everyone. I think we'll wrap it up here. We definitely hope that you learned some important vocabulary for signing up for a different cell phone plan or for talking about cell phones in English.
And you can always visit our website, Culips.com. If you want to get the transcript and practice exercises for this episode, check out the website to download the study guide, right? The study guide is the best way to study with Culips.
Totally. And if you're on social media, you can follow us on Facebook or Instagram, Twitter, or YouTube, and stay up to date with all of the news here at Culips. Thanks for listening, everyone. We will be back soon with a brand new episode, and we'll talk to you then. Goodbye.
Bye.